What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Medium Tank Enjoyer, and this week we're back with another tier list for Battle Nations, and this time we are ranking all of the non-nanopod units available to train at the barracks. This is in order of unlock. So the Trooper, very first unit you unlock, all the way down to the Arctic Trooper, which is the last unit you unlock. Now, quick disclaimer, the way I do tier lists is a little bit different. I'm very harsh on these units, and of course my opinion is objectively correct, so make sure you tell me in the comments below if you disagree. I like seeing all the wrong opinions, so we are going to rank based on viability in a standard run and fun factor. So we have three tiers here. A is going to be your staple units, and what I consider a staple unit is if you are going to play an optimal game of Battle Nations, if you're going to go for an optimized run, you're only going to want to train these units. And they just make the game so much easier, so much simpler, and so much more fun, honestly, because they can boost you up to max level very quickly. They're going to be what you want to spend your resources on because, as we know, time is a resource, and it costs time to rank these things up. And if you're ranking up garbage, you're going to be wasting time and you're not going to be having fun. That's what I consider a staple. Worthwhile to rank, makes the game easier, makes the game more fun. Now, we've got two more tiers here. B is the fun tier. Units in the B tier are going to be units that I consider personally, and I think many of you would consider, to be fun units to use. They're just so wonderful to use. They always have a fun place in my heart, and they're not optimal. They're never going to be the optimal unit to use at any given moment. But I'm not going to blame you for using them because we all love some variety in our lives, right? And we want to make sure we all have fun. And that's where the B tier comes in. So everything in this tier is not going to be optimal, but it will be fun. And that's what we're playing this game for, right? So that's what I have the B tier for. Now, F, hot garbage. I recommend you build nothing in the F tier unless it is mandatory for a mission. Sometimes some of these F tier units are mandatory, or at some points you will have no other choice but to use the hot garbage units, in which case that's fine. But I wouldn't bother ranking them up. I wouldn't bother wasting SP on them by farming. And I wouldn't bother mass producing them for one reason or another. We're going to go in depth as to why I feel that way. And I have the wiki here to reference things when I need them, so I can show you guys the stats, show you exactly why these things are good or bad. And without further ado, let's go ahead and start. So, number one, perfect example here is the Trooper. Okay? So the Trooper is the first unit you ever get. And because of that, you're forced to use him. But as soon as you unlock the next unit, he's not good. And you unlock the next unit at like level 2. The Grenadier, level 2. That's when you get him. So I'm putting the Trooper in hot garbage because he's pretty much unusable as soon as you get the Grenadier. Speaking of which, the Grenadier is going to go into the fun tier. And listen, hear me out. I know he's bad. I know the Grenadier is bad, okay? He should probably belong in hot garbage right above the Trooper. But I'm going to put him in fun. This is my controversial opinion for the video. Because he is better than the Trooper in pretty much every way. I believe he gets more health. He does more damage. Yeah, he has 5 more health. He does more damage. 22 to 26 versus the Grenadier does 24 to 36. So he's already doing more damage. And the reason I'm putting him in fun tier is because of this attack right here. He has this attack that uses all of his ammo in one go. As soon as he's rank 4, you can research this attack where he throws all 3 grenades he has on his belt in one single attack. And it's completely random as to where it might go. Obviously, the center is going to be the most biased, but it is pretty random. It can go anywhere in this cross pattern, and to me, that's what adds to the fun of him, right? He's this gambling unit where if all 3 of your grenades land the spot where you want them to go, you're gonna deal so much damage to your target, and it's just a fun unit, and I love using him, and I don't know why it's so much fun to do this, but he's got basically 50% more damage output than the trooper at rank 6 because of the 3 attacks he gets, and then he's on an 8-turn cooldown after that because he's out of ammo. He has to find more grenades, but man, it's so fun to throw that into a group of enemies, and especially if all of the squares are covered, then you're never going to miss, right? You're always going to hit something. You might not hit your intended target, but you're going to hit something, and I think that for that fun factor, that gambling, I think the Grenadier goes in the fun tier, and I wouldn't necessarily hate you for ranking him up. Okay, so the Arsonist, he looks so cool, right? He's got this red helmet. I think he's the only troop in the game to have a red helmet. And he's got his Molotov and his MP5K. He looks so cool. But unfortunately, he's worse than the Trooper. Because he's using a pea shooter, man. Look at this. The dude has nothing going for him. He does 12 to 18 on his Molotov, which is, it's tickling. You're tickling someone, right? And the SMG does 11 to 17 times 3 with very poor offense, right? You're not hitting the broadside of the barn with that accuracy there. So he's just outclassed by the Trooper in pretty much every way, and it makes me really sad because he looks so cool. He also costs merits to train, which merits are really hard to get without friends implemented yet. So that's not good. Okay, moving on to the Hunter. The Hunter costs more money than the Trooper, and by a lot. And for that much investment, you would expect a good unit, right? But he's barely better than the Arsonist. Hot garbage, and I'll tell you why. I think he has exactly the same damage output as the Trooper, and literally the only benefit is that his attack gains precision, which is good. Precision is good. But oh my god, he only has range 1 to 2 instead of 1 to 3 like every other precision unit in the game, so you have to put him in the front row to be able to shoot behind any blocking units, any units in the front row. And he's just going to die immediately. If you had 3 range, even if you had less damage, right? But 3 range, 1 to 3, he could at least be in the second row and hit the opponent's second row. But because he has to stand in the front to do his actual job, he's completely useless. Other than that, he's literally the same damage output as the Trooper. So you're paying a lot of premium here for precision. And that's not a premium I'm willing to pay for. So, hot garbage. Gunner. Okay, so the Gunner's not bad. Okay? He's not bad. He's going to go in fun tier. He's not as fun as the Grenadier, but he is better than the Grenadier. So I think I'm going to put him above. And the reason for that is because you can game the system when you play and have him always shoot into his ideal targets, right? I understand that you cannot change his target. He can only target the 3 tiles immediately in front of him, right? He can only do that. You cannot move the target like you can with everything else in the game. So he can only shoot what's in front of him. He's stationary for the entire game. But his second attack does so much damage that it's worth it. It puts him into the fun tier. This is great for low levels because you can layer the damage on there really well. And for that reason alone, I think he earns a spot in the fun tier. He's not really good, but he is fun, which is what we're talking about, right? Scout is kind of the same thing. Scout's going to go ahead. He's pretty fun, but he doesn't have much. He's another gambling unit, right? His shotgun has a side-by-side pattern attack spread, but the 4 pellets he fires are randomly distributed between the 2 tiles. So if you only are shooting one enemy with that attack, you're going to find that sometimes you just miss every single shot because it goes into the other tile. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like for anyone who's not familiar. This is it right here. He's got a 1x2 tile spread, and that looks like a lot of damage, but the damage is randomly distributed to either tile, right? Like it's not an even distribution here. It's 4 pellets that wildly swing in that direction. And for that reason, he's just not reliable enough to be a good frontline unit. Otherwise, he's got good survivability, he's got good resistances, he's got really great dodge. He can dodge a lot of things, a lot of defense. So he'll earn his spot in the fun tier, but he's not overly good. Junior officer. Oh, I really want to love the junior officer. He's so like outclassed because of when you unlock him. Right? You unlock him the same time as some other things that you would really want, you would rather be training, right? Like you get him 1 level before the Riot Trooper, you get him 1 level, you get him 2 levels after the Gunner, I think you get him the same level as the Scout, yeah. And he's not bad. The problem with the junior officer is he costs merits to train, and those are really hard to attain right now. But see, he's pretty good. He's okay. So because I have a lot of respect for the junior officer, and he used to be the top dog before a lot of updates came out, like back in the original days of Battle Nations, before all these extra stuff came out, like the TF2 units and whatnot. He actually ran stuff around here, so I'm going to put him at the top of hot garbage for the memory. And also for the drip. I mean, he's got this long trench coat, he's not wearing a gas mask, he's an officer, right? So I'll give him the liberty of being top of hot garbage. I don't recommend you ever train them because your merits are better saved for things that we're going to talk about in later tier lists, right? And we'll elaborate on that later. But for right now, don't spend your merits on him, and that's it. Next is going to be the Riot Trooper. Riot Trooper is going to go in fun. I think he's probably the most useful at everything in the fun tier so far because his job, the Riot Trooper's job, is to be a meat shield, right? And he's got a riot shield, he's got a little sawn-off shotgun. It doesn't do much damage, you should almost never be attacking with him. But he's fun. He's really fun to use. And until you get mini tanks, this is your guy, right? He's your guy. He's got crush resistance, and he's got piercing resistance. No fire resistance, which, you know, makes sense. He's just a guy, right? He can't stop himself from being burned. Overheated with that riot shield, right? It's going to heat up. The crushing, you know, that makes sense. If, you know, if he gets stepped on, the riot shield's not going to help him as much, but it'll still give him some protection. The piercing resistance is really what I like here. You're only taking 25% of the total damage. So what that means is that if an attack would deal 100 damage to the Riot Trooper with piercing damage, he's only taking 25 to his armor, right? That's great. This is the first armored unit you get access to in the game, and he's really useful. I'm not going to say he's a staple, right? You're forced to build 3 for the missions in the game. So, like, use those 3 and you know, when they die, heal them. They're not that expensive to heal. They cost a little bit of iron, and they're pretty quick to heal. 30 minutes, not bad, right? So overall, I'm going to put him in the B tier. He's the most useful of the B tier units so far, right? Because these are just memes. So yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. Scout has a lot of HP, so he could really be interchanged with the Riot Trooper. It just depends on what you have money for. Because Scout is more expensive, right? By and large, he's more expensive. The Riot Trooper is way cheaper. The Scout also takes bars to heal, which, by the way, never heal the Scout. It's a waste of money to heal. That's why the Riot Trooper is going to go ahead of him, even though he gets outperformed by the Scout in almost every category. He's really just cheap. You're never afraid to lose this Riot Trooper, whereas it sucks to lose a Scout because he's never getting healed, right? Bars, you don't get bars until late game. So, yeah, that's my spiel on the Riot Trooper. I like him. The Wimp. This is our first A tier unit. If there was an S tier here, I would put him in S tier because he's probably the best, my favorite unit in the game, probably. But that's a lie. But yeah, he's not my favorite unit in the game, but he's awesome. And he's going to go into A tier staple. This is our first staple, and when I say staple is you're going to mass produce this guy, right? You're going to produce as many as you can comfortably afford at all times, which is a lot because he's extremely cheap. At rank 6, your Wimp becomes an unstoppable machine, right? Everyone knows this about the Wimp. he becomes the satire in this game of Captain America, right? He's the Captain America satire. He starts off wimpy, and he injects himself with some experimental drugs, and becomes an absolute monster with these attacks. And look at those damage numbers, right? And this is on one of the cheapest units in the game. So yeah, there's not much else to say about him. He's a staple. Next is going to be Soldier. Soldier's going below Wimp, but he's still going to be in staples. Why? Because Soldier pretty much carries you throughout the entire mid-game as soon as you unlock him and as soon as you can start mass-producing him. He's got the same problem as Scout, where he costs bars to heal, so you're going to want to instead just make a new one when he dies until you can get bars, which won't be for a while. But he's also not going to be dying a lot because he's got 180 HP at level 1, which is huge, right? A Trooper, for reference, has 50 HP at level 1. So he's got more than 3 times the amount of HP as a Trooper. He's a backline unit with range 1 through 5, so he can attack every single tile in the game from no matter where he is. He's in the back line, he can hit the opponent's back line. And his attacks are just very, very consistent and very powerful. He's got burn chance, he's got a backup grenade just in case he runs out of ammo. And I just really like him. He's going to be used throughout the entire mid-game, and even sometimes he'll be used in the late game, depending on what you need. So yeah, he's going to go in staple. Sharpshooter. So here's my problem with Sharpshooter. He is fun. Don't get me wrong. He's only getting not heart garbage because he is fun to use. But he's really bad. Don't make him. I really don't like. He's fun to use. He's got a scope on his bolt action rifle instead of just being a normal trooper. But really, the damage output isn't crazy. And the only thing that saves him is that he does have the range 1 through 3 precision, so you can shoot the enemy's midline from your midline, which is it's just okay. So he really shouldn't be in fun, but I'll give it to him, right? I'm not going to be so harsh, whereas I will be harsh with the Ranger. He's basically just outclassed by the time you get him. If he was available earlier in the game than this point, I think he would be really great. But the problem is he only has 1 attack, even though he's got a machete clearly on his back that he could be using. They didn't give it to him for some reason. And he is just, by the time you get him, you can have, he's level 20, right? By this time you can already make mini tanks, and mini tanks are just going to shrug this guy's attacks off like nothing. Yeah, he does do pretty good damage, but it's piercing damage. So a Riot Trooper in the front is going to take 5 damage per attack instead of 20, and then he's just going to, then whatever is behind him is going to kill you, right? It's not really useful. And that's the big thing that kills him. He's also expensive to train, relatively. He costs 1,000 iron, when that 1,000 iron could be going towards mini-tanks, which we're going to talk about next time, right? So yeah, he's just a little bit understated for the level that he's unlocked. So I'm going to put him at top of hot garbage just because he's cool. I mean, look at that. He's just so cool, but it pains me. Hornet. Hornet's going straight to the top of fun. Okay? And here's why. He has the funniest attack pattern in the game, and he shares this attack pattern with a lot of other funny stuff, right? But he attacks in this 3x3 square grid, and he gets 4 shots. And just like the Grenadier who got in this tier before him, it's random where it goes, right? It's going to be biased towards the center, but where it goes, nobody knows, right? And you can deal so much devastation, or you can miss entirely. That's the beauty of the Hornet, and for that reason, he's going to get a fun rating. He can do a lot. At rank 6, you have the funny possibility of being able to do 200 damage to the square that you're attacking, and that's just so funny to me. And for that reason, I think he's gonna gain it. Yeah, he costs merits, so probably don't train a lot of them. But if you're really looking for, like, if you're starting a different account, or if you just get bored of using the other units in staples, like, he's a perfectly fine choice to not die of boredom, right? He's fun. So that's what the tier's for. Sniper. Sniper's going to go in fun too. Probably above the gunner. But see, here's the problem with Sniper. He costs bars to train. You need to have the Spec Ops Center to start training him. And those all cost bars. And we don't have any consistent source of bars to train him with. At the level you get him, yes, you do start getting bars, but you really want to use those on other things, right? You want to promote some of your other units to level 5, which cost bars. You want to save those bars up to turn into laurels. You need those bars to make some ships. It's just a nightmare, and you really don't want to juggle that kind of thing. Bars are also used to mass produce one of the best units in the game, which we'll get to very soon. So for that reason, I wouldn't train any snipers, but he is fun, so he's going to get fun, right? Like, look at him, he's cool. He's basically a beefed up version of the sharpshooter, and the sharpshooter shouldn't even be up here, so I have to give the sniper the fun tier just because he is objectively good. He's just very expensive at the moment. So here's another staple. He's going above soldier. This is the field agent. The field agent has 3 attacks. He has an attack that hits the entire field of organic units and stuns them. He has another attack that stun locks all vehicles on the field, right? They both have a percent chance, so it's not 100%, but he's hitting the entire field of either all vehicles or all flesh-based units, organic. And that is unbelievable. And then his third attack is a nice little pistol shot, which helps finish things off. It also does good damage on its own, I think. Very strong. If we take a look here, Mr. Field Agent, level 25, you unlock him. Yeah, at level 1, he's doing 83 damage on the top end with his pistol. That's not bad. That's really not bad for a pistol, right? This is his sidearm. It has a 30% crit chance, too. Like, wow. It's pretty good. I can't complain about that, right? That's not even the main reason you take this guy. You take him for the EMP and the gas grenade. And those hit the entire field, depending on what you're going up against. So, he's going to be useful for the entire game because of boss strikes, right? You can produce these guys quickly, cheaply, and they can hit the entire field, which helps you really get through boss strikes quickly. Boss strikes, if you don't know, are these waves and waves of enemies where the entire field is filled with enemies. And you have to kill them as quickly as possible so that you can keep grinding SP and XP and boss strike points and not waste time. And for the not wasting time portion of that, the field agent is amazing because he's hitting the whole field, right? And so he's helping you save so much time there. He's also got drip, right? He's like a secret agent. I love him. He costs bars, so he's conflicting with the sniper, and you need to spend all your bars on him, right? He's there. You need to at least get 3 of them so that he can continuously cycle his attacks. And yeah, he's just great. Love him. Love him very much. He's one of my favorite units in the game as well. I think he outranks the Wimp as one of my favorites. Next, we're going to do... I just realized this is labeled incorrectly. It should be non-nano infantry. Forgive me, please. Next is the Armadillo. This is going to be hot garbage right above the Trooper. Actually, we're going to put him below the Trooper because the Trooper at least is cheap, right? Expendable. The Armadillo has no real use. He's just an upgraded Riot Trooper, but by the time you unlock the Armadillo, which is like level 27... Level 27, you're going to have access to Pumas, and in 2 more levels, you'll have access to light tanks. Those are tanks, right? For similar amounts of money, you can have a tank instead of a guy with a glorified shield in front of him, right? They're going to have much stronger attacks, much better defenses. They're just all around better. And so don't bother. Don't bother wasting your resources on this. Next is the Demolitionist. In my opinion, the Demolitionist is the definition of a fun unit. He's got this gimmick where he has no reload time. He has no cooldown on his attacks. So you can just spam click the opponent, and he's got a very fast animation. So you can just spam click the opponent if you have a very particular unit on the enemy team that you need dead right away, the Demolitionist is going to do it. He's going to beep, 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 and just detonate the C4 over and over and over again until it's dead. And then he'll have a long 8-turn reload. But that's fine. He'll have already done his job spamming every single turn. And for that reason, he gets the fun tier. He's just a joy to use. Very satisfying. And for that reason, he gets his B tier. Next is the Turtle Sheller, and he's going to get a B tier for a similar reason. He's unique. He is an artillery unit that acts as a frontline tank. Okay? You see this barrel that he's got going on here? He can't shoot the enemy's front line. He can only shoot the back line with indirect fire. His range is 2 to 3. He can't shoot one tile in front of him, which I think is hilarious because he's supposed to be on the front line. He's a frontline tank. He's got armor, and he's got resistances, and he's just a fun little guy. And, you know, he's not optimal, of course. The tanks are going to be better at pretty much everything. But he's the definition of one of these fun units that I can't fault you for mass producing if you like them, right? If you like them, that's what the game's about. And, you know, he's fun. He's usable, right? He's usable. It's not going to be a bad choice. He's usable. He's got tons of different ammunition types. Let's see what kind of ammunition he's carrying here. Yeah, see, he's got his 90mm mortar. He's got a couple attacks here. They're pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh, he even has an attack that can shoot the front line. So this is unlockable later, and he can do it, which is pretty cool. Oh, he's got a poison attack. That's pretty cool. It just deals less damage. That's it. His attack that hits the front deals less damage. So that makes sense. Well, yeah, he's just a fun little guy. I like it. That's why he's below the Hornet and below the Demolitionist because they're a lot more useful at the time you get it, but he's still fun. So he's going to go above the Riot Trooper. Next is going to be the Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper is he's another fun unit. Actually, yeah, he'll go above Hornet on fun. He's not more fun than these two, but he's way more useful. He can actually act as a frontline tank. He's got a buttload of HP. He's got a buttload of armor. He's got good resistances, and he actually has a stun attack that can inflict stun status on the opponent. And if you didn't know, the stun status prevents your opponent from taking a turn next turn. So that's great if you want to incapacitate one of their key units. You just lob over a stun grenade and you're good to go. So yeah, he's pretty great. He's a budget tank, right? He's not optimal. The tanks are better, but he's fun. He does his job. The Chem Troopers are next, and this pains me so much because I really like them. They're cool. But they're just not good. It's like having a buffed version of the Flame Trooper. And, you know, they are a buffed version of the Flame Trooper. But man, oh man, do they die. They're really good at dying. Because they have to be in the front line. And if you're in the front line with 315 HP and no resistances at rank 6, you're going to get killed by anything before you can go off. And that is, I think, the tragedy of this unit, right? The light chemical tank is better. Just get the light chemical tank because it's actually made to be in the front line. So unfortunately, he's going to go hot garbage, but he will go to the top of hot garbage. The Biogrenadier is better. Not good, but he's better. And here's my reasoning. He has less HP, yes, very much. But he at least can go in the second rank and throw his chemical grenade. At least he can do that. Right? That means he can get protected by tanks and not die immediately. Right? Indirect fire is not going to hurt him as much as a direct hit will. And so for that reason, he's going to go bottom of fun because he's technically usable more than the Chem Trooper. And they are going to kiss the same tier as each other because of that. Lightning Trooper. Alright. Lightning Trooper is going in top of fun. Okay, and I can't really explain why without talking about the next troop at the same time, which is the Lightning Dragoon. So, the Lightning Dragoon is going in staple. He's actually going to go above the soldier, but below the field agent. Actually, I'm going to put him above the field agent. So that they really could be interchangeable, but here's the reasoning. The Lightning Trooper and the Dragoon are unlocked at the same time at level 46, and they do the same thing, which is they both shoot in a forked pattern, a forked attack pattern, and they both deal similar damage. Here's the difference. The Lightning Trooper deals slightly more damage. I believe he has slightly more HP. And he has a chance to stun by 30%. He also costs a little bit less in the grand scheme of things. He costs laurels, but less total resources than the Lightning Dragoon. So he's better on paper than the Lightning Dragoon. But the Lightning Dragoon has a second attack that you unlock that has a 100% chance to stun. This is unbelievably useful in encounters because you know whatever you shoot at is going to get stunned. Yes, he does not have unlimited ammo, so he's going to have an 8-turn reload time after you fire this thing more than twice, right? You get 2 shots and then he's going to reload. But man, oh man, is that 100% stun useful. Not only that, that would make them maybe equal because of the increased damage and the base stun chance on his normal attack and the unlimited ammo. The Lightning Dragoon gives way more SP when you kill it, meaning that when friends are implemented into the game and you can raid them, then your friends can kill these Lightning Dragoons at no cost to you and gain a buttload of XP for their troops when they're ranking things up. And so for that utility reason, the increased utility, he's going to go into staple, and the Lightning Trooper is going to go into fun. But you could totally run the game with Lightning Troopers instead, if you prefer them. So that's up to you. Okay, these next two are not in the game yet, but I pretty much remember how they were played back in the day, so it's not going to be like the Nanopod unit review, where we had a lot to talk about. The Cryo Trooper is a staple. He's going up above the Field Agent, but below the Lightning Dragoon. So the Cryo Trooper is a unique unit because I believe it is the only free unit that can inflict the freeze status effect. And the freeze status effect not only stops the unit from attacking like stun does, it also makes the next attack dealt to the target, the subsequent attack, deal increased damage. It increases their damage resistance to things. So if we come out here and look, the Cryo Trooper %, chance to freeze for 3 turns, right? And the way these turns work is weird. So 3 turns is actually 2 of the opponent's turns, because on the 3rd turn they can act again. So for 2 of the opponent's turns, they're frozen in place. And this is very, very good, just in general. And the freeze status effect is a very strong status effect, right? It increases your damage on the next attack by 1.5x. So you're getting a 50% damage boost on the next patch, on the next attack. And for that reason alone, I think, got to give the Cryo Trooper a staple. He's great. Arctic Trooper is not very good at the level you get him. You unlock him really late 50s. But he is going to get a fun ranking above the Scout because he is resistant to cold. He is resistant to freeze. His machine gun does deal explosive damage, so he's not bad at dealing with tanks, right? Because tanks don't have explosive resistance, typically. And so, you know what? He's all right. He's not bad. In the later missions in the game, you're going to go into the cold environments, and since he resists the cold status effect, that's not bad. He also looks really cool, so, I like him with the snowshoes there, so I'll give it to him. And that was my non-nanopod infantry tier list. We really got into the weeds on this one. I really enjoy the staples that I picked. If you disagree with me on any of these opinions, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll try and respond to as many as I can. I really want to engage with you guys, and I'm always trying to improve my opinion here. And so I really appreciate the feedback. And if you enjoyed, listening to me rant and rave about this stuff, next week I'll be back with another tier list. We're going to be talking about the vehicle factory this time. That'll be fun. We're going to be talking about the vehicle factory nanopod units. That's going to be awesome. The vehicles in this game are so much cooler than the infantry. There's so much more to talk about. And they're some of the best designs, in my opinion, in the game. So I'm super excited to talk about that. Let me know if you're excited. Let me know what tier list you want me to do next, because I am listening to you guys. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below. And like I said, I will try to get to as many comments as I can, and I really want to engage here. So I will see you next time. Make sure you maintain that tank mentality.